Hello everyone and welcome to the video portion of section 89, which we call 20 Minutes of Truth. This is the lifestyle portion or the holistic portion of both the practice and the website. And as the name implies, this is the Alignment Center's code for healthy living and a healthy lifestyle. An organized, sequential, step-by-step approach to systematically lower stress and inflammation. For non-patients of the practice, welcome. For patients, things that you can do outside the office to improve the results that you get inside the office. Because the part of the brain that manages stress is the same part of the brain that manages posture. So the better you manage your lifestyle stresses, diet, nutrition, hormone balancing, sleep, exercise, stress, inflammation, the better you will manage your alignment, correction, posture, and overall health. This is information that many people are looking for, but it is difficult to find. So please listen, learn, apply, and don't forget to share. For all visitors, I invite you to take a look at the chiropractic portions of the website. And if you have not made it into the office as of yet, we invite you to call to schedule to come in and get checked. We help people recover from injuries, improve their posture, get relief from chronic pain, and avoid unwanted and unnecessary surgeries every single day. Hopefully we can do the same for you. Congratulations on completing step 1, the 28-day comprehensive cleanse. This is step 2, healing digestion. By completing the cleanse, you already have your evaluation results. Bronze do-it-yourselfers have completed the metabolic assessment form. Silvers have that plus your BIA. And most importantly, everyone should have their food sensitivity test results. Gold cleansers purchased the food sensitivity test at the same time they purchased the cleanse. Bronze and silver cleansers purchased it separately. Either way, totally fine. The results of the food sensitivity test show the foods that you react to. React to? What's that mean? Foods that create inflammation, break down tissue, and generate a massive immune response. That's essential information. So, kind of a big deal. You don't try and rebuild a house while it's still on fire. And you don't try and heal your digestion at the same time you're tearing it down. There's too many people that take supplements to better digestion while at the same time eating foods that worsen digestion. And some of these are the same people that complain about the cost of supplementation. Now, for those that still need to do the test can be ordered under the product tab under the heading testing. The digestive step sets the stage for long-term health. Hippocrates said that all disease begins in the gut. That means if you are addressing, battling, struggling, dealing with a chronic health condition, digestion is probably involved. How? A very high percentage of the time. Inflammation is the driving force of a chronic condition. And a very high percentage of the time, that inflammation comes from diet and digestion. So if you're experiencing digestive tract symptoms like heartburn, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, this presentation's for you. And if you're not experiencing digestive issues, but seemingly unrelated symptoms like fatigue, joint pain, thyroid, and even depression, this presentation is especially for you. There are people out there that don't want to take a pill to mask the symptom. They want to get to the cause of their health concerns. You may be very frustrated with conventional medicine because the answer does not lie in a pill. It has to do with your lifestyle. And a big piece of that lifestyle is diet and digestion. Now, the reason why you did the cleanse first is because poor digestion could be coming from a toxic load on the body. We mentioned it as one of the 5 direct correlations in the literature, along with the many indirect correlations as well. We talked about the steps of a comprehensive cleanse, of going clean, lean, green, and mean. Now, if you don't know what those steps mean, they are explained on the cleanse video. Now let's talk about digestion. So as far as digestion, we are talking about the stomach, gallbladder, pancreas, small intestine, and large intestine. Yes, the liver is involved with digestion, but we took good care of that during the cleanse. Now, the way we're going to talk about digestion is sequentially by organ. The symptoms related to that organ, and most importantly, the huge, indirect, seemingly unrelated symptoms related to the organ as well. Now, if you have digestive symptoms, you are not alone. Heartburn, 20%, 1 out of 5 experience that on a regular or a reoccurring basis. Gallstones, you got 20 million friends if you got that. Diarrhea is the second most common illness reported in the United States. Now, as far as gas, I didn't find any statistics to see how common it was. But I did find this statement by the Mayo Clinic, which says that excess gas may result from swallowing more than an unusual amount of air while eating, drinking, or chewing gum. I'm sorry, I just thought that was funny. And as far as constipation, you got 63 million friends if you got that. Now, digestion plays such an important role in every aspect of health. Please tell me the part of the body that is not affected by malnutrition. Thank you so much. So let's go down the tube step by step, and the first step is the stomach and heartburn. Please listen very carefully, not to me, but of the research. Right off the Prilosec website, it says that heartburn is caused when something called the lower esophageal sphincter is not functioning properly. This allows stomach acid to overflow up into the esophagus. Now, just to clarify, the lower esophageal sphincter is not a valve, it's a muscle. Big difference. So where is the lower esophageal sphincter? Well, it's at the lower end of the esophagus. Food comes down, passes it, and dumps right into the stomach. And that muscle tightens as the stomach churns to digest food. 1989 research says that the more acidic the stomach is, the tighter that sphincter becomes. And the less acid that exists in the stomach, the looser the muscle. So the physiology indicates that it's only when the stomach is not acidic enough the sphincter loosens and you get splashback. And that splashback burns the esophagus. And that's why you call it heartburn, or GERD, which stands for gastroesophageal reflux disease. So, according to the literature in physiology, it's not that you have too much acid overflowing, it's that you don't have enough acid. You have a loosened muscle, which allows for splashback. Now, people are going crazy already. Whoa, hey, that's not right. Hey, I take something for heartburn that blocks acidity, and it goes away. That's right. Now, what's not acidic enough for the stomach is still way too acidic for the delicate lining of the esophagus. What you take now makes stomach juices totally non-acidic, and it doesn't bother anybody. Well, that's good, right? Well, now you're asking yourself, how can my stomach digest food properly in a non-acidic environment when it's supposed to be very acidic to do the job? That's right. It can't. And here's the kicker. Digestion is sequential. The success of step 2 depends on step 1 being done properly. And if step 1 is not done right, step 2 doesn't have a chance. So the more steps that are missed, the more you get off track. And if the stomach is off, it affects everything south. Now, if you have any doubt about this whole thing about the stomach not being acidic enough, maybe this will seal the deal for you the way it did for me. In 2009, they took a group of people with totally normal digestion, no heartburn, and put them on stomach-reducing acid inflammation for 8 weeks. And then they took them off. And guess what happened? Now, they didn't have heartburn before, they didn't have heartburn during, but they developed heartburn after they stopped taking the medication. Well, I wonder why that happened. Because they just took a medication that evidently took a proper functioning stomach and turned it into an improper functioning stomach permanently. That's why the research article goes on to say that these medications can lead to dependency and important implications. I don't know, you think? How frustrated are those participants in that study? They had normal digestion before and now are walking away with a lifetime of heartburn. Good times. Now, what causes low stomach acid and consequent heartburn to begin with? Poor diet, medication, stress, dehydration, aging, food sensitivity, and others. Now, men, and especially ladies, please listen. A very important indirect consequence of low stomach acid can be osteoporosis. And the reason is that calcium can only be absorbed in an acidic environment. If the stomach is not acidic enough, calcium's not being absorbed. That may lead to calcium deficiency, and that may lead to osteoporosis. So if you're taking a calcium supplement and have heartburn, or if you're taking an antacid for your calcium supplement, I don't think it's doing what you think it's doing. Okay, number 1, heartburn. Number 2, gallstones. Now, if you got clay-colored stool, your gallbladder's in trouble. Now, the gallbladder is a storage tank for bile. Bile breaks down fats in your digestive tract. And bile is made up of mainly 2 things, cholesterol and bile salts. Now, if that mixture ever gets out of balance, as in too much cholesterol and not enough bile salts, the bile thickens, and before too long, you got gallstones. Now, the natural thought is, hey man, I'm going to cut back on my cholesterol intake. The only problem is that the amount of cholesterol that you eat has nothing to do with it. The influence that determines the ratio of cholesterol to bile salts is the hormone estrogen. Now, if estrogen levels get too high, it makes the mixture run too heavy on cholesterol and too light on bile salts. That turns the bile paste into clay, those clay into stones, and those stones into problems. So how do you get too much estrogen in your body? Well, it's not just the ovaries in women that produce estrogen. Everyone has another tissue in the body that produces estrogen, and that tissue is fat tissue. Fat cells produce and release huge amounts of estrogen. So the fatter you are, the more estrogen is produced. The more estrogen produced, the more cholesterol and bile. And your risk of gallstones just went through the roof. That's why first-year med students learn the 4 F's of gallbladder disease. Female, fat, 40, and fertile. The one thing they all have in common? Estrogen. So, mystery of gallstones solved. Next, diarrhea. Now, people have diarrhea for many different reasons. We're not talking about the, hey, I ate something bad diarrhea. We're talking about the reoccurring diarrhea. Yeah, why does that happen? Well, research says that one reason is the lack of enzymes being released by the pancreas. But why isn't the pancreas releasing enzymes? Because the release of enzymes is determined by the acidity of the stomach. When the food drops down from the stomach into the small intestine, it's the acidity of that bolus of food that sends the call to the pancreas. Release the enzymes. So if the food that drops down from the stomach is not acidic, because you're taking an antacid, there is no call to the pancreas to release digestive enzymes. No enzymes means that food is not broken down properly, which means it can't be absorbed, which means slip sliding away, you got diarrhea. So if the first step is not done properly, yeah, the second step doesn't have a chance. See what I mean? So that's recurring diarrhea. Now, let's go on to gas. No, gas is not caused by too much air being swallowed when you eat. Instead, let's just look at what the literature has to say. It indicates something called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO. Now, the small intestine should have a small amount of bacteria, while the large intestine should have a large amount of bacteria. But what sometimes happens is the bacteria from the large intestine start to migrate up to the small intestine. This changes the dynamics in the population. And when this happens, you have symptoms of bloating, diarrhea, malabsorption, and malnutrition. And that change leads to our old friend inflammation, being correlated in the literature to inflammatory bowel disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, and neuropathology. And as discussed in the cleanse video, that inflammation causes a breakdown in the gut barrier, allowing that digestive inflammation to now spread throughout the entire body. That gut originating inflammation correlates to chronic fatigue syndrome, congestive heart failure, depression, and autoimmune conditions. Now, the correlations are so high that this article from 2009 goes on to say that you can't even have an autoimmune condition without first having intestinal permeability. Wow. Okay. So how do you get SIBO? Well, at the top of the list, low stomach acid production and low digestive enzyme release. So steps 1 and step 2 are not done properly? No, step 3 doesn't have a chance. Gas. And the last step in the trip down the tubes, constipation. Now, just like diarrhea, constipation can be caused by a number of different things. Inactivity, lack of fiber, poor metabolism, medication, and others. But the common thread is the improper balance between good to bad bacteria ratios. And that leads to the production of methane gas, which is a polite way of saying farts. And that production of methane gas slows everything down. It's the presence of this methane gas that separates irritable bowel syndrome from irritable bowel syndrome with constipation. And this imbalance of good to bad bacteria ratios goes way beyond constipation. It correlates to obesity, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, and yes, inflammation. Oh, and by the way, what throws off bacteria ratios in the large intestine? You guessed it, low stomach acid. Yes, if step 1, step 2, and step 3 are not done right, step 4 doesn't have a chance. So when you have a problem at the south end, like constipation, it's a really good idea to look north. By fixing the problems north in the digestive tract, it doesn't necessarily automatically fix the problems south. But if you don't address the problems north, you don't have a prayer at long-term success south. Constipation. So back to the 5 organs, here they are. And here are just some of the direct and indirect effects digestion correlates to in the literature. So Hippocrates said that all disease begins in the gut, huh? Looks like it wasn't too far off. Yes, digestion, step 2 in the Section 89 program. Legal disclaimer, I am not a gastroenterologist. I do not claim to treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any of the conditions mentioned. So what am I saying? I identify abnormal function in the body. Then I help support normal physiology through natural means. And when you do that properly, good things happen. So let's talk about evaluating digestion. Remembering, if you're not testing, you're guessing. We will use the cleanse end results for the beginning stats of the digestive program. Now, learn how to score the metabolic assessment form specifically for digestion under the Learning Center tab. Very simple, very easy, very valuable. Now, the video for the BIA for digestion is the same as the cleanse. And if you'd like to review it again, be my guest. Now, if you've not taken your food sensitivity test up until this point, now's the time to do it. And let me make one thing clear. When I say food sensitivity test, I'm not talking about the food allergy test that people do with their medical doctor. That is something completely different. Now, if you've had it done, great, but it has nothing to do with what we're doing here. The food sensitivity test that we do is very simple. It's just a finger stick amount of blood. It requires 5 swatches of blood from your finger. We send it off to the lab. In 10 to 14 days, we get the results. Now, if you want to learn more about the differences between a food sensitivity test and a food allergy test done by a medical doctor, yes, you can find that under the digestive section of the Learning Center tab. Check it out after the video. Now, the results are from 96 foods tested, and they're listed here. You can pause it if you want to check it out. The results lay the groundwork for proper diet and proper nutrition, specifically for you while your gut heals. This way, you can identify and avoid reactive foods that are destructive to the repair process. And if you just do the first 2 steps of cleanse and digestion on the Section 89 program, fantastic. And if you're doing steps 1 and 2 to move on to step 3 of hormone balancing, you'll prepare for that by testing hormone levels while you're going through the digestive program. This test, called the salivary hormone test, is also referred to as the spit kit. It's a take-home kit collecting 4 saliva samples during the day. It measures estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, and cortisol, and is a much better way of assessing hormone levels in the body compared to blood. Now, I mention it now because it takes time. 1, it takes 10 to 14 days to get the results back from the lab. But 2, in addition to that, for premenopausal women, the test is done between days 19 and 21 of your cycle. So you may have to wait a couple weeks before you even collect the saliva samples. So keep that in mind and plan accordingly. Now, we won't take the time to go into the details of the mechanics of the test here, but you can check it out under the hormone section of the Learning Center tab. Now, as far as the steps in healing digestion, there are 4. Remove, replace, re-inoculate, and repair. Step 1, remove. Remove all reactive foods identified by your food sensitivity results. Number 2, replace. Replace all deficiencies in digestion identified by the symptoms of the metabolic assessment form. 3, re-inoculate. This is bringing back into balance the good to bad bacteria ratios of the large intestine. Well, how do you do that? You do it through fiber-rich foods. You do it through fermented foods. And don't forget apple cider vinegar and a good probiotic. And number 4, repair. Now, repair involves taking our foundational supplement called GI Pro, which is an excellent, superior source of L-glutamine. It's the most abundant amino acid in the body, and has been shown in the literature to be the key player in repairing the lining of the small intestine. Now, the digestive program typically has a duration of anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, depending on the needs of the digestive tract. Now, all other supplements on top of the foundational supplement of GI Pro are optional. Hydrochloric acid for the stomach, enzymes for the pancreas, bile salts for the gallbladder, and probiotics as well as magnesium for the large intestine. And in addition to supplements specific for digestion, we also have lifestyle products. Good all-around supplements that can be added as well. Supplements for inflammation, antioxidant support, vitamin D, omega-3 fish oils, and a fantastic meal replacement called Buddha Food, which is a protein drink that is the best I've ever tasted. To recap, remove food sensitivities. Replace and support your organ function as indicated. Re-inoculate with foods and probiotics. And repair intestinal lining with GI Pro. Now, as far as programs, you do have a few options on how to take the second step. Just pick the one that fits your approach the best and order below. The first approach, Digestive Bronze. Like the cleanse, it's for the do-it-yourselfers that are just interested in healing digestion. They're not taking or they're not sure about taking the next step onto hormone balancing. And just like the cleanse, when you place your order, they will be shipped UPS directly to you. And when they do, an email will be sent with the tracking information. Now, it also includes the program guide. That will be emailed to you at the time of your order so you can start preparing. And finally, your self-scored metabolic assessment form with all the instructions on how to fill it out and how to score it in the Learning Center tab under Digestion. First approach, for the do-it-yourselfers, healing digestion only, includes your 6-week supply of foundational supplement GI Pro, your program guide, and the self-scored metabolic assessment form evaluation. If this is you, order the Digestive Bronze for $169. Any additional supplements are an additional cost. Second approach, Digestive Silver. It's the exact same as the Digestive Bronze, plus the addition of the bioimpedance analysis done at the 6-week mark. Second approach, for in-office patients, just doing digestion, includes the 6-week supplement supply of GI Pro, program guide, self-scored metabolic assessment form, and a BIA done at the 6-week mark. If this is you, order the Digestive Silver for $189. Any additional supplements are an additional cost. And yes, the third approach, Digestive Gold. This plan is for those that are planning on moving on to the next step of balancing hormones. Here we offer the salivary hormone test kit together with the digestive program at a discounted price. Now, done separately, the digestive program is $189 and the spit kit is $389, totaling $578. But combining the two into one purchase with the Digestive Gold, it's a 15% savings, bringing the price down from $578 to $489. Almost $100 off. Fantastic deal. Third approach, for either do-it-yourselfers or in-office patients, for those looking to take the next step onto hormone balancing, plus everything included in the Digestive Bronze or Silver. If this is you, order the Digestive Gold for $489. If you have any questions or would like to contact the office, we would be honored to partner with you on your pathway to health. I want to thank you for taking a proactive approach to your health. Take 6 to 12 weeks. Remove the damage. Replace the function. Re-inoculate the bacteria. Repair the lining and watch your body heal. Holistic Chiropractic, where it is our mission to do today what others won't, so tomorrow you can do what others can't. Thanks for listening.